booth making noise, talking about pro wrestling on the podcast. Big up boys, big money guys, we be throwing down the rhymes, kicking it live, representing the Lone Star State every damn time. We got Stone Cold Stunners and the Rocks, people's elbows, watching WrestleMania on a...
Whoa, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ring Rundown. I am Dropkick Zombie, Jeep DKZ for short. As always, I'm joined with my boy, Mr. SP. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Technical
Wrestling
difficulties.
universe out there. Yes, man, we are finally up and running, man. We were having some technical difficulties a little bit ago, trying to bring you all this fresh wrestling news we got for you, man. How you holding up today, DKZ?
Just busy. Like always, I say, pretty much for the last few weeks. Job very busy right now with this whole, being the summer and trucks on the road like crazy. But pretty much before this, I was mounting a TV, and I had to go and get some more nuts and bolts, and I got the wrong ones, so I had to go back to Old Harbor Freight. And I still got that to look forward to after this. But besides that, man, it's going pretty good. Was going to go see a movie tonight, but instead we're probably going to go tomorrow. Go and see that Ministry of Ungentlemanlike Combat or whatever. Warfare. Ungentlemanlike Warfare. I wanted to go...
I haven't seen any trailers for that one or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. But, man, that sucks when you have the wrong nuts in your hands, don't it?
Yeah, bruh. It does. And that's happened to me a lot, Pulse. But, I usually have the right ones, but nah. So yeah. Well, besides that, that's about it. Wanted to go see Boy Kills World, but apparently it went into theaters on April 26th, and it's already out of theaters. So I'm a little bummed about that.
It seems like a lot of movies, man. I think if they're not doing real well, like they'll still kind of be in the theater, but only like in a few select ones. And then they're already out like on video on demand. Like there was one Abigail that had Melissa Barrera.
Mm-hmm.
That one looked really, really good in it. And it's already out on VOD for Fandango at home, aka Vudu for all of us streaming ninjas out there. What else? I believe Tarot is also available for VOD as well.
Tarot is still in theaters. I did see that one. It may be doing a double, but Boy Kills World, it went in on the 26th. I was like, all right, well, I'll see that next week. It's in that limbo between VOD and theaters. So I can't see it, and it's driving me crazy because I really want to see it, and there's no explanation of when it's going to be streaming again. The only theater that still has one showtime for it at all for the whole day is 2 hours away, and I'm just like, well, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No. I feel you. Yeah. It sucks, man, when you want to go see a movie that you kind of miss seeing it, but you just got to drive a long way away to go be able to see it.
Well, and it's mostly because right now we're in blockbuster movie time this summer. So all these like littler movies are kind of getting, covered and buried by, like this week, Planet of the Apes premieres. Last week, I forgot what it was. It was
The Fall Guy.
Yeah, The Fall Guy. And then so those little like Boy Kills World, and even though like the Ministry of Ungentlemanlike Warfare has a star-studded cast, Henry Cavill, the guy from Reacher, and all that is in it. It's still, I guess, it's a lesser-known movie. So it's kind of like Inglourious Bastards, I guess you can say. So it's kind of, it only has 2 showings a day, so it's going to be out pretty soon. But aside from that, let's get into what you got.
We are not here to discuss our movie loves. We are here to discuss our love of pro wrestling, man. So what do we got first on the docket here?
Let's get into the stuff that people are here for. All right. So do you want to do some recaps or do you want to do some news? What we got, bro?
Let's go into a little bit of recap.
Which show first? You want to start off with Raw? Because it's the Monday.
Yeah, let's go with Monday Night Raw, which obviously is just going to be filled with your King of the Ring tournament qualifiers. Our Raw women's bracket is Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega, Io Sky versus Natalia. Io Sky advanced in that round. Dakota Kai versus Valkyria. I'm probably butchering her name, and I'm sorry about that. Valkyria advances. Ivy Nile versus Billy Stark. Billy Stark advanced. And Shayna Baszler versus Selena Vega will be at a live event this weekend. Our Raw men's bracket is Gunther, Eli Dragunov, and Jey Uso. All three of them had advanced. Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston is the fourth one that is also happening at a live event this weekend. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, like I said, this is just building up for the king of the tournaments or whatever the Saudi Arabia show is coming up in a couple weeks. And I believe the winners from both SmackDown and Raw, both men's and women's, will be facing off at the King and Queen tournament in Saudi Arabia in a couple weeks. Not 100% sure on that aspect, but I believe that's what's going to happen.
I'm hearing that the main event may be Logan Paul versus Cody.
So yes, at the crown, or yes, in Saudi Arabia coming up in a couple weeks. Yes, it is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. It's going to be title versus title, I believe, is what it is. Let me go to.
So it looks like Cody's going to be a U.S. title holder as well as WWE Universal Champion as well.
Possibly, or it may just be for Logan Paul's title. I missed catching SmackDown last night. By the time we got home, I had already missed like the first half hour of it. So
I have to watch it the next day, and I haven't got a chance.
Yeah, that was the first half hour is what I missed on Friday Night SmackDown for last night. I know Cody praised Logan Paul for his work ethic. However, he also kind of buried him in saying, "You do all this just for yourself. You're a narcissistic POS. You come out here, you can't win a match without using your brass knucks, and you're doing it just not for the benefit of the company and for the boys in the back, but more or less just to stroke your own ego."
Yeah, pretty much. He ain't wrong.
SmackDown, we had our SmackDown women's bracket. Nia Jax versus Naomi. Obviously, Nia Jax ended up winning that one. And apparently, Naomi was also having some wardrobe malfunctions, which is why the screen kind of blacked out for a couple seconds periodically throughout their match. Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes ended up picking up the surprise victory on that one with a small package roll-up on Baron Corbin. Jade versus Piper. Obviously, Jade advanced in that round. She actually had a little bit of a better showing in this match against Piper Niven, but still very, very green in her training and her ring.
I'm sorry. By now, she should not be this green. I don't care what anybody says, bro.
No,
it's been long enough.
I completely agree. She joined WWE over a year ago. It spent all this time off.
You got Shawn Michaels right there.
Supposedly in training to get up to par per Triple H's standards and everything like that. And the way she just is still presenting herself in the ring is very limited of AEW, her time there. Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae, even through outside interference by Indy Hartwell, obviously Bianca ended up picking up the win. I am impressed though with this heel tactics from Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, because if you remember when Candice started to turn heel first, and Indy was very reluctant to do so, saying no, she didn't want to go that route. But obviously with the constant pestering and the storyline change, Indy Hartwell has fully embraced the heel tactics. She was hitting knee chops on or knee tackles to Bianca on the outside of the ring. So that's really good to see them going and embracing the
spicing things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Angelo Dawkins versus Tama Tonga, sorry. Obviously, you knew Tonga was going to end up advancing.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, Montez Ford, though, hit a sick moonsault dive from the top turnbuckle onto Solo Sikoa and Toa Longa. That was actually really cool. Unfortunately, he ended up paying the price for it with a Samoan spike
But it still
to
looked
the
cool.
outside. And that, of course, distracted Dawkins from picking up the win. And unfortunately, Dawkins ended up getting a Samoan spike and a beat down in the ring with Paul Heyman. Looks like in fear of his life for trying to go against, if he even dares to doubt Solo Sikoa being the new leader of the tribal chief or the bloodline until Roman Reigns gets back. We got a promo video of Blair Davenport will be debuting soon, I believe within the next week or two. AJ Styles versus Randy Orton was our main event, and Orton ends up picking up the win on that one, surprisingly over AJ Styles. Which I was kind of hoping AJ was going to pick up the win on that one.
You and me
Not gonna lie.
both. You and me both.
And then again, this weekend at live event shows, we got LA Knight versus Santos Escobar and Mitchin, aka Mia Yim, versus Tiffany Stratton. I'm thinking, obviously, LA Knight's going to pick up the win on that match, and I'm thinking Tiffany Stratton will be celebrating Tiffy time on her win over Mitchin. I could be wrong. They could be.
That's the most likely turnouts because, I mean, both of them kind of have the rockets on their boots. Well, they've been having them for a little while, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I said, Tiffany Stratton has really impressed me with her ring work and her skill set in the short time that she's been up on the main roster. That's essentially it for the recaps. We got
Dynamite. Anything interesting with Dynamite?
For our WWE recaps, that pretty much covers it. Let's go into our AEW Dynamite recap, and let me where that's at. Okay, so we got Kenny Omega has issued a challenge, Anarchy in the Arena. We will have Team Elite, a surprise reprising of the Young Bucks, Okada and Jack Perry versus Team AEW. And all Kenny Omega announced was that FTR was going to be the first two people on Team AEW, and the other two will be announced at a later time, either very soon or shortly after.
Where's Kota Ibushi?
I believe he's still in New Japan. I'm not 100% sure.
I know he was gone from New Japan, and I heard it was a foregone conclusion he'd be in AEW. I didn't really look at it after that too much.
I mean, they could be working on when to introduce him. It could be at Double
Well, I
or
mean, this has
Nothing.
been like a year, dude. Like he even did like I don't think it was even last year, the year before. He was gone from New Japan. And he even did a showing at what's his name, Bloodsport during WrestleMania weekend. Not even this past, but the one before that. I thought he was already in AEW. That shows how much I need to get back in AEW. I know, especially doing this podcast. I know.
So yes, we ended up finding out at the close of Dynamite that the other two people are going to be Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. So that's got to be something for Kingston and Bryan Danielson to team up to take on with FTR to take on the EVP, the new elite, if you will. Because we both know Bryan Danielson, he respects Eddie Kingston now, especially after the match that they had at, was it Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
I believe they had their match at, and he ended up winning Bryan Danielson's respect. Trent versus Orange Cassidy. There was a lot of, I guess, criticism on the spike pile driver that Orange Cassidy took on the steps, or on the ring steps, from Trent Beretta. Apparently he had only sold the move for roughly about 15 to 20 seconds before getting up and kind of making it look like it didn't have an effect on him.
Oh yeah, he should have been down for a while. That's devastating. That should be devastating.
Exactly. And especially, yeah, a move on the ring apron itself. You know how they always love to say that the ring apron is the
The
hardest
hardest
part of
part
the
of the
ring.
ring.
Yeah, if you're taking a DVD, also known as a Death Valley driver, on a ring apron, you need to sell that move for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be popping up
You
after
should,
about 15 to 20 seconds.
you should
And
be dragging yourself up after about a minute
after
or so.
at least a good few minutes. And it was something that even Bully Ray had said, that was
I
really
bet
one of his
Disco and they had Disco
main
Inferno.
criticisms.
I bet they had Disco Inferno
Nobody
going crazy.
Disco Inferno sucks.
I like Disco.
Um, I used to back in WCW days, but anyways, uh, we may be seeing. This is just my speculation, but Orange Cassidy may join the Don Callis family because Don Callis has kind of interjected himself in the whole Orange Cassidy debacle
That's
with
definitely would be a
Trent,
weird
and
fit. That'd be weird. But
it would be
interesting,
weird. I
but
mean,
weird. Interesting, but also interesting.
hmm Serena Deeb had her little promo, and she had a face to face with Tony Storm. Serena Deeb ends up blocking a shot from Tony Storm and ends up laying out Tony Storm pretty hard. I mean, that shot that she gave to Tony Storm sounded pretty vicious. Harley Cameron had her in-ring debut against Mariah May, and Harley Cameron would also impress me very much with her skill set, even for being fairly, green in the wrestling ring. So I'm definitely look forward to seeing how and where they take her. We had a face-off between Christian and Swerve Strickland, and what I thought was really cool, and this is just me being a nerd, was the little face-to-face timer that they had up in the corner of the TV screen for when that was going to happen. And Swerve last week said that he wasn't going to be coming alone when he was going to call Christian out, and he was joined by the Mogul Embassy in the ring. And unfortunately for Swerve, there is no more Mogul Embassy part of Swerve Strickland's
I knew that
faction.
was coming.
They have
That's been long
officially
overdue,
turned.
though.
Yeah, I agree. And
He doesn't need him at this point.
No, I mean the promos that Khan and Toa Lona gave backstage was, Swerve, you did this to yourself. You made it all about yourself. You pushed all of us down. You stepped on us to get to your position where you're at. The usual heel tactic verbiage. Brian Cage pretty much said the same thing.
Now they need to get Brian Cage up out of there next.
We had our TNT match, Adam Copeland versus Brody King. That was a hellacious bloody match between the two of them. Brody King just pouring buckets of blood, but yet still going up against Adam Copeland, just taking it to him. And Brody King is a monster.
I love that dude.
I've been a big Brody King fan since he debuted and joined House of Black, and I'm a big House of Black mark as well, too.
I remember Brody King in Wrestle Circus, but when he was still a student. He won like a competition or something like that to wrestle at Wrestle Circus because he was still training at Santino Bros in California, in LA, and then he won a spot on the Wrestle Circus card, and that's when I first saw him. And he had like a hardcore band, and I remember my friend knew the hardcore band, and I forgot what they were called. He's like, whatever band, they suck. He came out the ring and got in my friend's face. I was like, I'm not helping you. I was like,
I'd be like, you're on your own now. So like, I just sat down, turned to look away, and just like,
I was like,
drinking my drink or whatever.
You did this to yourself, and like he was the most like intimidating presence. I was like, I like this dude. Like he popped right out that ring, like he just woo right in his face. I was like, oh shit. But keep going, bro.
Kyle O'Reilly ended up running out to save Adam Copeland from a further beatdown by Brody King. And at the end of that, and the little backstage segment, Kyle O'Reilly has officially challenged Adam Copeland for the TNT title, which will happen tonight on Collision. So Collision tonight, we have 3 hours of AEW television, starting off with Collision from 7 to 9, and then our hour of Rampage from 9 to 10. So wrestling fans, make sure you watch tonight.
All right. So is that it for the recap, sir? Can we get into...
Yep, that does finalize our recaps of our weekly wrestling television shows. I'd like to start covering more on like NWA Power, TNA, and NXT and stuff like that. So
That'd be cool. I just don't know where to watch. I know where to watch Power. I just don't know where to watch. I think it's on Fight Network now, TNA.
It might be.
I just don't know where to watch it. I mean, of course, I can watch it on the sketchy site the next day. But so maybe that might be a thing I can do. I would like to get back because from what I'm hearing, TNA is where it's at. Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, all the work that they put in, especially with the help of Scott D'Amore, constantly grinding away at those shows, putting in all them hours of work. He definitely helped rebuild TNA back to where it's at.
And then they fire him.
Yep, and then they canned him.
Gotta love it.
We're pulling for you, Scott D'Amore.
I just don't see how one of these big companies.
I'm a big time Team Canada fan. Back from the.
Oh yeah, me too.
What's that? You don't see why these big companies
haven't scooped him up already. Yeah, yet? I don't understand it. I thought that would have been a sure. Like I thought Tony Khan would have been like, "Come on," even Triple H, "Come on," but. Looks like it's not happening. Like I said, he filed for that trademark, Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Yeah. So what do we got?
All right, first order of business. Let's see here.
News to start us off with.
Triple H was asked about Drew Gulak being released from WWE, and this was him at a media conference, right? And I'm going to also.
Yeah, this was right at.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, this was at the media scrum. This was
Backlash
after the media scrum from Backlash from France from a couple weeks ago. After Backlash. So a reporter had asked about the whole Drew Gulak situation, saying, "Hey, we're hearing reports from these sites are saying that Drew Gulak has been released. What are your comments on that?" And Triple H apparently had to say, first of all, if you're going to cite news sources, pick good ones. Obviously, in terms of Wrestling Observer newsletter and Fightful Select.
He's starting to go Dana White on the
Sean Ross Sapp and Dave.
He's starting to go Dana White on the dirt sheets, bro. He's starting to go Dana White on something. Yeah, because Dana White, boy, he has the same kind of relationship with the dirt sheets.
So here's the thing: when you're running a wrestling show, reporters should be able to ask these questions that they're seeing because they want to get answers from essentially the horse's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bad look on Triple H to sit there and call them, not trustworthy news sites. Now I know Wrestling Observer has had their issues with accurate reporting, but Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp have been pretty spot on with their reports, because I know that they're constantly reaching out to insiders.
I'm not gonna say that he's right or wrong, maybe how he handled it, but what if those dirt sheets, and maybe I should say dirt sheets, or media sources, what if they are wrong? Maybe he shouldn't have been so crude about it. I don't know. But maybe he had a point there, maybe he didn't. Who's to say? Maybe he shouldn't have handled it that way, but I don't know.
Like you said,
I'm talking from the world of MMA, and they get a lot of shit wrong, and I see why Dana goes nuclear on them, but not necessarily calling him right for that. It's not like him. I've never heard him do that.
Yeah,
And
but my thing is from a reporter
you're
standpoint, you
right.
should be able to ask
Yeah.
whatever questions you have that you're trying to get more thorough, accurate reporting on. Um,
I do get your point.
and
Now that I
it
think
just
about it,
essentially,
they were just asking.
yeah, and
Yeah.
hey, we're hearing reports coming in, saying that these people have been released. What are your comments on it? And then just to go and shoot down those sites, especially if these are sites that are pulling information from your people as well, too, because I know, like I said, Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select have a good reputation for for giving, concrete information as much as they possibly can, and if they say, hey, as of now, this is what we're hearing, we're not confirming this is true. This is just what we're hearing, through essentially the grapevine.
Yeah. But I do get the bit of the struggle with, like dirt sheets and media sources, reporting stuff. Probably ahead before stuff wants to be announced and stuff like that. So I do get the
Mhm.
struggle with it. You don't know who to trust or who to talk to. Anybody could be a source for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole Ariel
Right.
Helwani debacle with, you know,
Mhm.
with Dana White. So I can kind of see why a lot of, promoters are kind of get annoyed with, these media sources.
Wh-
But he shouldn't have been a jerk to that reporter, like, because they were just asking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? For clarity. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's their
Yeah. And
job.
a lot of people were trying to compare the two medium scrums between AEW and WWE being very similar. No. If you've ever watched an AEW media scrum, Tony Khan will answer and give you
And he'll
like a
dance
direct.
around it a little bit, but he won't flow out blow it off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, he'll dance eventually. Yes, he will give you number, but he doesn't disparage and degrade
Yeah.
reporters who are
That
just
is a
simply
good
trying to
point.
ask questions.
He'll just
You know.
he'll give like a corporate answer and kind of dance around it, which is what you're supposed to do if you're not comfortable answering something in that
Hmm.
situation, not to make yourself sound like a jerk. But yeah, so you are right about that. That is a good point.
Yeah. Alrighty, what do we got now? What's up next?
All right, we got this guy's comments on Sky Blue and the way she dresses. I love the way she dresses. Like that's just no problem with it. Let me just preface it with saying that I have no problem with it.
Right. However, because you have no problem with it, does not give any man the authority to sit there and yell disgusting, nasty, perverted things to
No,
said female wrestlers.
no,
They're
no.
out there. Yes, it's their job. They're putting on a show. They're trying to show off their talents. It's not your job to sit there and sexualize them. Yes, they like. Have you seen these AEW TikTok vids that the female wrestlers have been putting out? They've been doing
I
like,
haven't
I'm a
seen them.
female wrestler. Yeah, no, you should go back and watch them. They're like, I'm a female wrestler, and this. Like, they're going out and saying, one of them was, directed towards, someone, making nasty derogatory statements about them,
Mm.
sexualizing them, and they're like, yes, we understand you guys are going to do this. However, that does not give you the authority to touch me, grab me,
Well, no,
uh,
anybody.
say say these things to me, whatever. And for this person to give some fatherly advice, um, how
Well, it's
about you
like, who
teach your
are you,
boys?
dude?
How about you teach your kids to respect that they're going to wear what they're going to wear, and it doesn't give them the right to say or do anything to make the ladies feel less than their worth, uncomfortable, at ease, because apparently this was something that happened. Like I said, like the image shows, Sky Blue experienced something like this at the ROH taping, and apparently reports was that after the match, she was made to feel just real down, dirty on herself, and disgusted, and just like she wasn't worth, the gum on the bottom of somebody's shoe. And she went back to the dressing room. When she was walking back to the dressing room to the locker, she looked real like defeated, like, oh my, like, why am I doing this? Like,
Oh, that
you know,
sucks.
yeah. So And the fact that the person was doing it there with their kid in hand as well too. And I'm sorry I didn't mention this during the AEW recap, but actually during the Harley Cameron Mariah May match, during the picture in picture, Soraya actually pulled the camera over to the crowd and was pointing at the crowd saying, "Put this perv on camera," and blast him all over, social media, TV, whatever, on national TV, and like just pretty much just call him out
Pretty
for
much, it's okay to
how he
admire, but keep your comments in your hands to yourself.
yeah, she was pretty much get these pervs on camera and on national TV and expose them for who they are. And apparently Aubrey Edwards, the ref for that match, was yelling at the guy as well too, and had the guy with his kid kicked out. The fact that you're going to do that there with your kid sitting right next to
And
beside
then get
you,
your kid kicked out with you.
yeah, that is just bad father parenting advice. So, men, when you show up to a wrestling show, if the women wrestlers are wearing their attire, leave your comments to yourself. If you want to heckle them, say "boo, you suck," whatever, yada yada yada, that's one thing. But to go and disparage them on their looks or saying you need to cover up, no, you have every right to get kicked out. And
It's really none of their business. Like, it's not the guy's business. Who cares? It's not their child. So why are they worried?
it's
It's stupid.
it's 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 stupid, and it's also just more evident of the sexism that goes on in the world of professional wrestling, and actually in all the sports, because you got men that are out there prancing around in their teeny tiny
It does happen
wrestling
to
trunks and
men.
stuff like
It does happen
and
to men from
no,
women.
no, I'm
It
not.
does.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just saying though that the men
It's just
will
not talked
call him
about.
out. It's not talked about, but the men will also make sure that they get kicked out as well too.
Yeah,
So
rightfully so.
it's yeah, which again deserves to happen if they're being, sexualized in any sort of manner and being groped on and such. So
Did you
again,
see that one? CVV. I know you know CVV. Everybody loves CVV.
uh,
The podcaster. Crap. CVV. He's a very big
oh,
podcaster.
Chris Van
Chris
Vliet.
Van Vliet. Yeah, good
Yeah,
looking,
he's really cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good looking guy. Had
Mhm.
one female on his podcast that would not start his podcast until he like unbuttoned his shirt and showed his abs, and he refused, which he should have. He's like, "No, I'm here to be a
Good.
professional."
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody got on the female about it. It was just after it all happened, everybody's like, "Yeah, that was weird." Like, you know what I'm saying?
And it needs to be called out whenever it
Yeah.
happens.
And I felt bad for him because he really wanted the interview, and I was like, "Wow,
Hmm.
that was weird." But yeah,
Hmm.
people just if it's
Just
not,
go have
just go
fun.
have fun, talk your
Go
shit, but
go
leave
have
that
fun.
shit out of
Enjoy the
there.
show. Boo them, cheer them, whatever. But don't degrade them verbally for
Yeah,
wearing what they wear. Don't grab them. Don't do anything. Don't
that's sus
don't
shit,
try to
man.
pull. It is. Yeah, and you guys need to do better.
If you want to do that, wait till you get home and
Hmm.
take your little phone out, sign into the hub. But don't that you're in a public place with performers trying to do the best they can. They don't deserve that treatment.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, in Texas, you can't look at Pornhub no more. Remember, I mean, don't forget that.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but I mean,
Get
there
you a
are the other
VPN.
sites. There are other sites that they could go to and watch that kind of thing.
Get you a VPN.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, there you go.
All
All
right.
right, man. Enough of
Enough
the
about that. Let's see.
yeah.
My
What do
mouse
we
is
got
about to
next?
go dead, so I'm turning it off to like I forgot to charge it. Let's see. Raw gonna be on the USA Network till the end of the year, correct?
Yes, Monday Night Raw is officially gonna be on the USA Network for the remainder of the year until it does debut on Netflix in January. That was just confirmed just the other day, I believe, via Fightful Select. And again, they're, as far as I know, Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp has been very accurate in their reporting. Now, obviously, we know in the wrestling world
Wasn't
things have
that
changed.
wasn't that
Things
already
change.
the agreement to begin with that it wasn't going to go to Netflix until 2025?
Well, yeah. That was the agreement, but nobody knew because the current contract for USA and WWE Raw was up in September, so no
Oh,
one knew. Remember
okay.
that when we
I
like
forgot
one
about
of our
that whole
very first,
part.
yeah, it was one of our very first episodes. So
That's
there
true.
was a limbo as to what was going to happen with Monday
I
Night
remember you
Raw.
bringing that up
Would
now.
it be, yeah, would it be extended until the end of the year to cover? Were they gonna try to find like a temporary platform to broadcast it on? Um, nope, it is officially staying on USA until the end of the year. So we do have that to look forward to. So you don't,
I
I
don't
don't
look
know if you
forward
had.
to it.
Well, I mean, at least with
I ain't
Netflix, I
got
mean,
cable,
they're gonna
so
be able to go.
well, no, that's
Yeah,
why I
that's
can't
right.
wait for it to be on Netflix.
Yeah, that sucks if you don't have the cable to be able to watch it. So, you got to resort to your
Sketchy site.
sketchy site to
Yeah,
be able to watch it. But at least once it does hit Netflix, then a lot of us will be able to enjoy it on a weekly basis, and they'll have more of an adult content, obviously, as we have discussed on in prior episodes.
more freedom. All right.
Yes.
Next, going on to. So I know we touched on this earlier, but apparently Drew Gulak is out of the WWE.
He is officially no longer there. Via again, Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, they have confirmed that Drew Gulak is no longer with WWE. He was let go quietly without a public display of it, which I think
For the
is the
best.
good. Yeah, is for the best. I mean, he was only featured on what NXT, and it wasn't very often. Um, Now, obviously, we would kind of hope that the allegations against
I just
him.
hope they did their due diligence and they made sure that this was the right call.
Exactly
I hate
where I
to
was.
see somebody get
Exactly.
punished for something they didn't do or if it was a mistake. But
Yeah,
that being
that's.
said, I don't think WWE would have let him go that quickly if there wasn't some validity to the story.
Mhm.
My
Well, I mean,
take.
he was pulled from events over WrestleMania weekend, so maybe at that time they were doing their due diligence and investigating it. Unfortunately, we don't really know any full more aspect of the conclusion of said and oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Investigation. There we go. We don't know what the conclusion was of that, so all we could do is just sit here and hope and fingers crossed that they did do their due diligence in researching the Drew Gulak accusation against Ronda Rousey, and hopefully it's all for the better. Would hate to see it, just a simple mistake happen, um, and someone lose their career. That's never a good thing. So it's
Well,
kind of a tough. It's a real tough, tricky situation. You
and we may
hear all
never
the
know for years until he'll do like a shoot interview or something, or maybe
right,
if he was even telling the truth then. It
hmm
just we'll never know the exactly what happened, but
right.
so
So all we could do is hope that the best decision was made and no other parties were affected.
so all right. Let's see. Moving along here to some other kind of stale news, which if you go like did, it's not stale, it's fresh, but this is stale news. Jerry the King Lawler not getting another contract offer, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah. So apparently they just quietly decided not to renew his contract and just kind of let him go on his way. Let me see. Where do I have that at? Yeah, just King not offered a new contract with WWE. It's been known in the past that should he had been, let go, he would at least, kind of been taken care of, or signed
Not
to
even
a
a Legends deal.
signed to a Legends deal or something. But obviously, his Legends deal contract probably came to an end, and they just decided to part ways with them. I know he has a history of being a misogynistic pig, somewhat.
I know he
So
likes
it
his women. He likes the puppies. So I don't. I'm
oh
not gonna say all
he
that. I don't
he
know.
he he definitely likes at least the 30 to 40 year younger uh
Oh
of
God,
his age. Oh yeah, he likes them to like where they're in their 20s and early 30s.
weird.
Anything over than that, yeah. And
This isn't the
it
first time this happened to
honestly,
him.
honestly, no, it isn't. And
He
honestly, it's not
was.
surprising knowing everything that we do know about him and the way how he presented himself, both being a wrestler and a color commentator. And I mean, he was a big uh proponent of the Attitude Era. I mean, he was one of the reasons. Both him and Jr. Both delivered countless memories of the Attitude Era to us as child. When we were in junior high and going into high school and stuff like that. I know a lot of people are hoping he does not end up going to AEW. He think a lot of people would think that is just a bad idea.
He
I
did do
mean,
a stint on the Indies back last time he was released. I remember
mhm,
seeing him in Combat Zone Wrestling doing a spot during WrestleMania week in New Orleans. Um,
mhm,
he did a kind of a little spot over there, but he did a little bit of touring around the Indies, so that may be something he
mhm.
does. I mean,
But I mean,
the dude's old, bro. So I mean,
can his heart handle it? I mean,
he didn't
he's
do
definitely
nothing really.
he's definitely not a spry chicken or nothing like
I
that.
mean,
But
he didn't do nothing back
his
then. It was a little
his physique,
appearance.
yeah, his physicality for being able to go into the ring and put on a match is very limited. And speaking of which, very limited. Apparently, Ric Flair had a heart attack during his last match, his tag team match with was it Andrade?
I'm not
And
trying to speak this into the ether. I don't think he's long for time, bro. That dude is drinking so much. That dude is doing so much
oh,
right
Ric Flair,
now.
yeah. Did you see the video of him at the pizza restaurant?
Did
The
you see him
dude
at
was
Kill Tony?
hammered.
Did you see him at Kill Tony? That
He
was
was.
painful to
Oh,
watch.
oh yeah. Well, no. So
I saw
when
the
we
pizza
so
restaurant.
yeah, so the pizza restaurant, yeah, that was one thing. And of course, he was trying to spin it as something completely different, but obviously, unfortunately,
The video don't lie.
people with cell phones with nowadays, yeah, exactly. Video don't lie. But no, the Kill Tony thing. So when that episode came on, it was already like a few weeks before that episode actually aired. So
Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff that was edited out. But from what I heard or from what I read on
he was
Facebook,
gone.
because there's a Kill Tony group that I'm a part of on Facebook. People were saying like Flair was hammered, and even before the cameras started rolling, and that there were actually things edited out of the live broadcast, was that Flair was going on a rant about Asian pussy, about Asian vagina being the best there is out there.
That's weird.
So,
And then
and so
I
all
saw just from what they showed, he was slamming back shots like crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised at that aspect. But what was funny and what a lot of people got on to Ric Flair about was his comment saying, "Oh, I'm not going to sit here and make fun of somebody who's given up their time to come out here and
That's
put
the
on a
whole show.
performance." That's the whole premise of the show. And like
You got to
Tony,
know
like,
that going into Kill Tony.
and I don't think Flair fully did. Like, yeah, he got a quick rundown of the show before the show even went live, and even at the very intro or of the show before he even pulled out, or he even has the the opener come out, the regular opener come out. And so, but I think Flair was just so gone at that point, he wasn't catching on at all. And he spent most of the time when he was there just scrolling through his phone, looking at his phone.
He was like that the whole time. His head was
Hmm.
down. That's just from
Hmm.
what I
Yeah, he
saw.
was. Yeah, his head was down, and he had his phone up, looking through his phone, not really paying any attention, and refused to rag on the people coming up to do their minute uninterrupted.
You know who
So,
I want to see on Kill Tony sidebar real quick?
hmm,
Undertaker. I think Undertaker would be pretty cool on Kill Tony
I
as
think.
a
Well, I
special
mean,
guest.
he's got an Undertaker Fig up there on the table, and
I think they need to
he's
push it.
he's
He lives
worn
in Austin.
he yeah, he lives in Austin, and he was on Joe Rogan Experience a few months ago. So, and usually that's usually what happens whenever a guest goes on Joe Rogan Experience, and then Joe will bring him out, or they'll stay a couple extra days and will be a guest on Kill Tony. So,
Hopefully that's
it's
something in the future.
hopefully all right, man. Aside from from good old King, what do
Let's
we
see.
got next?
We got another release, but we're moving over into the AEW side of things with Mr. Ethan Page being gone from AEW.
Yeah, so this was a shock to see. Apparently, somebody was going through the AEW roster page and noticed that Ethan Page was no longer listed in their internal roster, and apparently not on ROH either. So he has officially been released. And according to him, on a live stream that he did, he had been asking for his release since February. Um, I think my takeaway on this is
Missed
if your wrestlers
opportunity.
are at, huh?
Missed
Oh,
opportunity.
it's a big missed opportunity for Ethan Page. He was a great performer, man.
Looks
But
good, everything.
mhm. My takeaway is if your wrestlers are asking for a release from the company, just give it to them. Don't bother trying
If
to
they're not
keep
happy,
them.
then it's not gonna.
Yeah, it's best to just cut
It's
ties. Doesn't mean that you can't bring them back in the future to a new contract, but they want out for a reason. So just grant them they're out, and just say, hey, the door's always open for you. Would love to definitely work with you. Maybe like bring you in for just like an outside, crossover. The forbidden door, as what they say. And I think with the injury of Scorpio Sky still being out, I think that kind of hindered what to do with Ethan Page.
because that whole the best men, the best guys. Oh, I forgot what
The best
man.
men.
The
Yeah,
best
they were the
men.
best men.
I
Hmm.
think that was actually a really good angle. So I think that could have went somewhere further than what it did.
Hmm. Big time.
Um, so I mean, it's sad to see. It was a missed opportunity. The guy looks good. The guy
Hmm.
wrestles good. The guy's good
I
on a
mean,
mic.
and I think he's like one of the number one sellers of merch on PWTs. So,
Yeah, he has a pretty huge following, a pretty sizable following with his, toy collecting stuff. I watch it
hmm
all the time. Um, haven't heard anybody say anything real bad about the guy.
mm-mm,
I've met
not at
him.
all.
I've met him on numerous occasions, and he was always great. So I mean, it just sucks to see, but hopefully he can do something now. He can go somewhere else and really, shine
Hmm.
like he should.
Agreed.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on to some less stale news. But Britt Baker is joined up with Mr. Diamond Dallas Page, a guy that's attributed to helping a lot of wrestlers and a lot of people with their, physical, training and their rehab. And the dude apparently is a miracle worker. So she's in the
Hmm.
right hands, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, I mean he helped Jake the Snake Roberts get back to his glory days. Scott Hall, uh, who else? AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, Matt Hardy has even started doing a little bit of DDP yoga. Mick Foley as well.
Fluffy.
Count, yep,
Gabriel.
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias. Yes, his. I mean, he's been on again, off again with the DDP yoga. Um, but hopefully he picks it back up and can make a
Yeah.
more solid of a difference. But I mean, countless athletes that have been able to restore their career with the help of DDP yoga. I mean, I myself have the DVDs and stuff like that.
I've
I
done
haven't
it.
used them I haven't used them in a while, but I definitely need to get back into doing so because that
Got him sitting in
definitely
that
for
closet right there. All right off camera.
yeah, no, they definitely help for lower back issues, big time. So hopefully, and I mean, Dallas, he's been praising her nonstop with her work ethic and everything like that. And I know when she does return, hopefully she is able to return at Double or Nothing. I bet you her her and Jamie Hayter are going to get two of the biggest, loudest pops ever when they return.
Yeah, I like me some Jamie Hayter too. Uh, so moving on. Good to see she's in the right hands. Glad to see that she's doing good. That's definitely the guy you want in your corner to help you, get yourself back to optimal operation.
Big time.
Next up, coming back from suspension, Sammy G.
Yeah. So according to Wrestling Observer, he's no longer suspended, but unfortunately, there's no word yet on when he'll be cycled back into storylines. So they probably got to figure out where they're going to interject him into. Because I know right now he is. He actually just posted a video. Well, he took a video and Ty Mello or Ty
Yeah.
Guevara posted the video that he took of her running the ropes in the ring. So she's looks like she's working on getting back into ring shape, and will be returning as well too. Hopefully, maybe they could do intergender storyline work route with her and Sammy going against maybe Saraya and her brother Zach Knight,
That'd be cool.
or Adam Cole and Britt Baker,
That'd be cool.
or Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Angelo Parker.
That'd be cool.
There's definitely some possibilities on where they could.
I like all three of those ideas.
I think one of those programs will work definitely real well to try to work to bring Sammy back into the picture.
So yeah, well, it's good to see him come back. I hope he does what he has to do now, and we see him in some really meaningful spots on TV. Now moving along, let's see what we got here. Some pretty stale ass news if it's true.
Yeah, so apparently, again, per Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer, the promo that Orange Cassidy gave last week on Dynamite saying that Chuck will never be able to wrestle again is pretty accurate, as his suffered an ankle fracture and also is suffering of necrosis of the bone and fragments underneath the cartilage along his ankle. Has taken a turn, and it appears that he won't ever be able to wrestle again. However, there is some good news, as the last few months he has been training in a producer and a coach role for AEW organization. So if he's taken out of the ring via his injury and the bone disease, essentially, that he's suffering from, at least he'll be able to fulfill other spots in the company as being a producer and a coach. And I know that's another way for wrestlers to still stay within their company to, continue to do what they love. I mean, Sanjay Dutt is one as well, who is still, still involved in the wrestling, world, either
Just behind the camera.
Taking hits and bumps, and is also a producer. Same with Christopher Daniels, and a lot of these wrestlers, man, it's good to see them taking more active roles to be able to stay with the company that they enjoy being at.
What people don't realize a lot, how long in the game Chuck's been. He's been around a long time, dude. In your area and where you're from, California, he was really big in the California area indies, like with PWG. That was his main squeeze for a while. And
yes, I had no idea. So a lot of these, wrestlers, due to me working where I was working at when I was living in California, I missed out on a lot of indie shows, or I just didn't have the money to go see them because I was in between jobs at the time. So there's definitely a lot of wrestlers who were involved in the wrestling scene, indie wrestling scene in Southern California, and even where I grew up, that I missed out on.
He had his big break like long into his career. His first big break was in JPW during the Tag Team Super Juniors tournament, where he rejoined Trent, because him and Trent have been tag teaming even before Trent was in WWE as one of the Dude Busters. So as the best friends, they've been around a long time, mostly in the California indie scene. And it sucks to see, because he got his break very late in his career. So he's no spring chicken himself. So,
Hmm.
but it's, I hope to see, like I said, doing his thing behind the camera, making a
Yeah,
difference. Because the dude got a good
yeah.
mind for wrestling. He has a lot of experience.
And I mean, just because he may not be able to wrestle right now doesn't mean down the road he won't be able to get back into
Yeah.
it. I mean, we've
We've
seen
seen Daniel Brown, you come back.
countless Edge, Soraya, or I'm sorry, Adam Copeland, Soraya, Brian Danielson. Those all the three of them were,
Never supposed to be
like
back.
career-ending neck injuries, and you fuck with your neck, you're paralyzed. I mean, Darren Drozdov unfortunately took uh, a sky high from D'Lo Brown and unfortunately landed wrong, and his career unfortunately was ended right then and there. And
Yeah, that's
that's
sad
just
to see.
it is very sad to see.
All right.
Um,
So wish him the
but
best,
yeah,
man.
yep. Chuck Taylor, wish you the best.
You're the man. One of the funniest guys, bro. Dude is very hilarious if you ever talk to him.
He
Next
seems like
up,
it.
we got Punk still getting them shots taken at him by AEW.
Yeah, so apparently what had happened on Monday Night Raw during his promo that he gave, uh now obviously he's in a program back and forth with Drew McIntyre. He called Drew McIntyre a choke artist. However, not a choke artist like I am. And he looked over at Pat McAfee and he goes, "Right, Pat?" And Pat responds, "Yep, guillotine chokehold." But it just goes to show you that people outside of WWE have really no clue what it was that he was referring to, because that reaction that Punk should have got, crickets. No one had any idea what he was talking about. And it made me realize that when Cody Rhodes has made, statements about him breaking the throne, his bullet cufflinks, no one in the WWE crowd, aside from wrestling fans who actually watch outside of WWE, knows what the hell Cody Rhodes was
There
talking
is
about.
some crossover, but there is very different fans on both sides. There is a lot of crossover, but I mean, you got to remember, WWE, like my little nephew, he can't sit through AEW. I mean, he's more there, not necessarily for their in-ring work, which is what AEW strong suit is. You know what I'm saying? Is the matches. He's there for the
Mhm.
larger than life characters, the entrances, you know what I'm saying? And that's more WWE sports A. So you got to remember,
Mhm.
like, definitely WWE is more casual friendly.
Well, so that's again, that's where the
There's a difference,
yeah,
some difference between the
exactly,
audiences.
that's where I was going with the differences, where WWE is sports entertainment. They're more focused on the entertainment aspect, where AEW is more focused on the in-ring work of their professional
More
wrestling.
sport like.
Yes, the actual sport of wrestling.
Yeah. So
Stuff that was developed in Mexico, in Japan, in Canada, and anywhere else that wrestling, has an origination from. Um, and I mean, you get good and bad with both companies.
yeah,
But
but
again,
nah, I
like
will say the
like I said, it just goes to show you that some of the comments that Punk or Rhodes make in reference to their outside work, or their work outside of WWE after they were gone, falls on a lot of deaf ears with the WWE universe.
yeah, and I wish that a lot of people in the W, like my little nephew Francis, would give other promotions more of a chance than just. It just goes to show you how much the market is ruled by WWE still to this day.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and it's gonna be ruled by WWE for the longest time.
Yeah,
Um,
that's without a doubt. I hope we can just get. I hope AEW can get close one day, maybe.
mhm.
But that's remains to be seen. But I'm hoping for it because I love when they all do well. I love when people are like, "Oh, WWE's on," and then wait, I ain't got no wrestling. Oh, let me check out AEW. That's
Mhm.
I love when that
And like I
happens.
said, I think we're finally getting to that point with AEW where they're starting to
I hope
change
so.
things and turn things around, because these storylines that they got going on with Christian and Swerve, Deanna Parazzo and Thunder Rosa, and
Good
just
TV.
all the Adam Copeland with the House of Black program, Kyle O'Reilly trying to go for more actual singles victories and to actually capture uh, a belt, and especially this program between with Orange Cassidy and Trent, and also possibility of him joining Don Callis' family. And where does Chris Statlander fall in all of this? She's still trying to be the peacemaker between, the bringer together person between the two. Um, Ultimately, I think Chris is going to end up turning on somebody and joining one of the two. And for Double or Nothing coming up, it looks like it's going to be a stat card, a really good card. A lot of people are kind of questioning the Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Money match. Like when she does her promo work, she's not doing anything to build up hype for the match. It's Willow's the one putting in the work to build up hype and credibility for the match, whereas Mercedes, she almost kind of sounds like she's falling on deaf ears, you know.
Yeah.
So she definitely needs to work on her promos and
open that mouth more.
Yeah, actually, yeah, definitely needs to work on her
mean,
promo and her interview skills.
Get with somebody back there. They got a lot of good, people that could help her with that too. I mean, like, what's a good example?
Serena Deeb is really good on the mic. Thunder Rosa, I think,
she's decent.
Pretty. Yeah, she's decent. She needs a little work sometimes. Britt Baker is a really good.
You got Adam Copeland there. Adam Copeland would be a good one.
Christian Cage is a
very good too.
Same with Samoa Joe.
Yeah, he's very good.
Joe right now, I think, is the best promo person on the mic.
He's very underrated when it comes to his mic work. He's always been very underrated because he's so imposing and physical that you don't realize it's been since TNA. Like, he was always very good. Delivered some intense promos.
I've been a big fan of Joe since he debuted in TNA with Taz and the House of Violence.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see. It's weird. He's one of the only Samoans that is not related to the Anoa'i family, the Anoa'i family. So, but yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll get there, man. I'm praying for it. I love having a lot of different options out there. So
yes, man. Like I said, it's definitely a good time to be a wrestling fan, man. We got lots of wrestling out there for anybody who likes
something for everyone.
Stuff. Exactly, something for everyone. And as far as I know, man, is this our last subject?
We have hit an hour. Very good. Nice. So a little bit of an announcement. This will be our last podcast on this particular channel. We're separating from Fat Zombie Entertainment. We're going to take a brief 2-week break so we can get that all together, and we'll be back on our new channel. I'll have the link up on this channel for you guys to go and check it out. So just, please follow us over. The people that we do have, and hopefully we can grow from here. Stay tuned. We have an Instagram coming out. Show your friends, spread it around. We're trying to get something moving here.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, like Dropkick Zombie said, we're gonna be getting an Instagram account. We're gonna try to get these uploaded now. Also branching out into Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Podbeam, all those other great places.
Any place where that is a podcast hosting site, we're going to try to get it out there. That is something that we're both going to be working on during this little hiatus break, and I believe we may even be debuting a new logo. Is that correct?
We're getting rid of that old crappy logo. We're going to be getting a very good professional done logo that I actually like a lot. So it'll be the new face of the channel, new thumbnail, all that great stuff. Hopefully we can build out from here.
All we could go is up.
Alrighty. Well, that being said, thank you guys, and join us again here in 2 weeks. Well, not here in a new channel, but we will be getting you guys a link. So, well, for SP, I am Dropkick Zombie. Good night, everybody. Happy Saturday. Everybody, enjoy your night.
We two loony guys catching eyes with our hype, talking pro wrestling, making all the fans unite. In the ring we swing like a rhyme making machine with moves so mean, leaving opponents in a dream. You're rocking the mic.